Hello everyone, thank you for joining me today at Everything AeroPilates. Today I wanted to talk about if you get a unit, and it could be a new unit. I've read a couple reviews where people said they got a new unit and they had this problem, but definitely possible on a refurbished customer return unit. What you're seeing here are some very loose cords. Now the cords aren't frayed, which is nice, but they are loose. You can see how loose they are. Now this machine was actually, I believe this is the 2014 release of this machine, but it was in, I purchased it as customer return refurbished, so it was packed up very nicely in the box. It barely has nicks and marks from being shipped a couple times. Even the rebounder and the tow bar don't have that ring around it that would have if it had use. So if it was used, it was maybe tried once or not even used. A lot of people, when they got this box, were upset that it was so heavy and they didn't even give it a try, which is such a shame. But when you get a unit and you're expecting a new unit and it has these loose cords, it's possible a couple things have happened. It could be that they didn't tighten them from the Stamina products, but I wouldn't expect that from a new one, but it's possible. You could be buying from a second seller who is maybe even presenting it new, but maybe it's not new. Or like this one that I know that it was a return refurbished unit. It is guaranteed to function properly, and it does, but as you can see, these three cords are going to give a lot less resistance than they're supposed to, and these red cords feel really good. They feel tight enough. And so what I'm going to show you today is if you get this machine home, it is a pain to ship back, right? If you have to pack all this back up and ship it back, and if the only thing that's wrong with your machine, if there's not like a major flaw, like a major manufacturing defect, and I'll tell you about a couple little flaws I've seen, especially on return refurbished units, but one time on a brand new unit, I've never seen this personally except on this refurbished return, but there is another flaw that I'll talk to you about later. But all of those things are maybe cosmetic, but do not affect the function, and that is worth keeping. I know when you first get something that's new, you want it to be perfect, and so at least I do, and so it's hard to get your mind around, oh well, I'm just going to keep this flawed unit, but this is a really quick fix. So I don't want you to get discouraged if you see these cords loose or any other flaws, because it's worth it to keep it once you have it in your home. Once you ship it back, you might try to talk yourself out of keeping it, and you would be missing out on just a really, really great piece of fitness equipment, one that can balance your body, stretch your body, help with pain. There's so many things, and I know Marjorie Bergman always says we're not making medical claims, and she's not, but she's heard probably tens of thousands of stories of people who this has given their life back to. So it's worth keeping it, and this is just a really quick thing that you can do. There's two reasons you might want to actually tighten the cord. This is like I said, a newer unit that I'm trying to use, and it has this problem, so I'm going to tighten it in this case. However, also I heard Marjorie Bergman say once that if these cords get loose just from overuse, and they just don't feel as tight as before, you can also do this trick to tighten them. And that extends the life, and you don't even have to buy new cords until much later. I've heard of people having these 20 years. Some say they've had to replace the wheels or a couple cords, and then other people have said it works, it's just like brand new, and they've used it constantly over 20 years. So I think it really depends on probably a lot of factors, but we can extend the life of these cords just by tightening them as well. So this works for dual purpose, but for this case, I got this refurbished returned, and it's a beautiful unit. It looks brand new, but this is absolutely fixable. Let's get to it and fix this knot. So this is the first loose cord that I have. You can see just how loose that is. That will still give you some resistance, but it's going to be pretty little compared to what you're expecting. So I'm going to pull that whole cord down from the bottom here. I pulled up here to help it, and I'm getting a bunch of cord down underneath. And you can see the knot is tight on there. Now, I don't know if this cord is just extremely long, which is kind of what it looks like, a longer cord, because it doesn't feel like the stretch is gone. It still feels very sturdy. It has a lot of life left in it. This is a double coil knot, and so I'm just poking the end back through to uncoil it, okay? So now I have the side open, and if I really needed to right now, this would be the time that I could take out this cord if this was like a really old one that was very stretched out. And even though it's loose, like I said, it still has really good tension in here, and the threads are really good, so I know that it doesn't need to be replaced. Okay, but I could take it off from the top if I needed to. Okay, so now the knot was up here. You can see where the bend was. So I know I need to go back here to actually get the knot. And I'm gonna get as much as I can down here. And then I'm gonna do the double coil, which I'm just gonna wrap twice over my fingers. And you almost start a third time with that coil before you go up, and I'm gonna go into the top. And I'll try to get a close-up of that on the other one. Probably the yellow one, because that one's gonna be a little easier. And so I double coil knotted it. I'm straightening it in there, tightening it up, and I'm gonna push the knot up a little. Okay, and now look at that cord. Beautiful, that cord is nice and taut now. That's gonna make a really good resistance. And you can see I have a bunch left down here. So it really looks like maybe this cord just got cut a little long, I'm not sure. So let's go ahead and look at the yellow one. Okay, time for this really wobbly yellow cord. So again, I'm gonna use my hand up here to pull it down and through, pull it out. You can see how it's knotted there with the double coil, and I'm talking about these two, and I don't know what the official name of the knot is, but it has two coils. That's what I describe it. And I'm gonna push it through, and probably one at a time. Do you see how I'm taking out one? And then it has just the one left, and I'm taking out, whoops, the other. You're gonna have a little bit of slipping possible, okay? So now you can see how long that is. So now I'm gonna pull it taut. And I'm gonna use my two fingers. I'm gonna do one coil, two coils, start my third coil. I'm gonna pull that a little more. So, two fingers. You can always, I think two fingers is best because it gives you a little room. One coil, two coils. I'm gonna start my third coil on this side, on the underside, and then I'm gonna pull it and push it through the top of the fingers here. Kind of like when you're tying a balloon, is what it reminds me of. Only twice wrapped around. And I'm not gonna do this gracefully, but I push it in the top. Can you see that? I'm pushing it in the top of the coils. You can see it's a little easy to get your finger stuck in there. Okay, that just released a bunch when I did that, so I'm probably gonna have to push the knot up a little. Okay, that's still a little too wobbly for my liking, so I'm gonna do it again. And I guess you just might have to do it a couple times. So this time I'm gonna try not to show you as much. You can see that my nails are actually fraying this a little. I have had bands. I think I was telling you about my mom's reformer. She's had it for over 2 years, and she had some fraying, much worse than what I just did that there with my nails, and it has not affected her machine at all. So I'm gonna do this quickly now. So I skidded up my fingers. My fingers are pretty short, and I'm gonna go 1, 2, maybe a little closer. 1, 2, start my third, push it down through, while slowly slipping my fingers out. And then I'm gonna try to hold it down so I can really push that knot up. Okay? And I'm pushing the knot up. Just pulling on the end, pushing it up. Okay. That looks about right. Now the yellow has a little wiggle, and that's because it's the lighter weight. So you're gonna have some wiggle in there. Okay, now let's do our last really wobbly black guy. You see how it wobbles, and these two these all now are like much more taut, but this guy's still pretty wobbly. So let's go over to him. And I'll show you again. I'm gonna pull it down. It has that double coil knot. I'm gonna push it through this first one. And even though this seems, so I'm having to do 3 cords right now. The likelihood that you have to do 3 at a time is, unless you're changing all your cords, not super likely. So I'm just getting that out. But just know that it's doable, and that's the whole point of this. I want you to know it's doable. And you can see where the knot was here. And that's really way too low for this long cord. So I'm gonna make it tighter and closer. I'm just trying to use try to do this with my left fingers this time. 1 coil, 2 coils, start the third coil, pull it through. If you guys have thinner fingers, You might have a little more, and longer. I mean, like I have the size of, a hand size of like a 10-year-old. You'll probably have a little more success with that. And then you have quite a bit of give after you have the knot tied to push it up. So you can just really use some good pushing and get it up there. Okay, great. That's what I want to see. So now these cords are tightened. They still have plenty of elasticity in them to give you resistance. And just look at the cord length difference, I think. I think these are just really longer cords because you look at the right cord. And I'm gonna tighten these when I'm down here, actually. Why not? Tighten them while I'm down here. Okay, so there I have it. All 5 cords, now tight like they're supposed to be. And that's how you tie the cords tighter. And again, this is a new cord that we're using here, or newish. But if you have a really old stretched out cord, you can do the same thing, extend the life of the cord, and before you even but change out these cords eventually. So I'm saying for the money, for these to last even 5 years would be amazing. But the fact that they last even longer and you can just tie them tighter, and you can get maybe 10, 15, maybe even 20 years out of these cords is pretty amazing. So I hope that helped you. Let me know if you have any questions down below. Let me know if you have any comments and what you think about this cord process. I did this by myself, but you could have somebody hold it here and go ahead and tie down here. That could be, a little easier, but you can do it by yourself. So I hope you saw how easy that was. It's absolutely worth keeping your machine. Please do not send it back for loose cords. Just do this quick fix and you are already ready to go and work out again. See you guys next time.